As I went with the quant course and I saw the materials, I realized that quant is not mathematics. And what I would say top 1% really helped me was unlearn a lot of the habits that I had for solving maths. Like you said, I was used to finding the right answer. I was not used to eliminating the wrong one. It's a game of nerves, I feel, on the exam day.
Right.
The person
True.
who's able to hold their nerves towards the end is the person who gets the result they really want.
Hello, Yash. Good afternoon again. How are you doing today?
Yeah, I'm doing good. Hope you guys are doing well.
Oh,
I'm really
very well,
excited. I
extremely well.
mean,
First off, congratulations for a GMAT 740 in your GMAT. I'm actually going to open up your uh, the entire share that you had, the GMAT report. You gave your GMAT well on 9th June. It
yeah,
was
I think 6th June, but yeah.
Yeah, okay. The report came as 9th June, and you had a 42 in verbal and 49 in quant. And I also hear a great news that, I mean, with this score, you had applied in the round one and you also got into Darden. Could you just tell us about your entire journey of your preparation, or before you began, when did you actually start your preparation? Because I think it must be the same time, this time, say last year, that you started, that now you have landed up with a admit plus a scholarship, hopefully a scholarship, I would say, right? So please
Yes,
just tell us
100%
about,
scholarship is what we are looking at.
yeah, please
Yeah,
just tell us
that's
about
the
your
hope.
entire journey here.
Yeah, so actually, the journey did not begin for me last year. I had actually approached top 1% in 2021 itself. At that time, I was thinking about whether I want to do an MBA or an MS. So I decided, let's try the GMAT. But towards the end of the classes, I still wasn't sure which stream I wanted to end up in. So I decided to hold off on the GMAT. Then again, this year, actually December last year, a lot of my friends were getting clarity regarding where to go. And I also had the similar clarity. So again, I knew who to approach because I had already gone through I would say, the courses as well as the classes before. So I knew that a top 1% was where I wanted to take my, take the first step towards GMAT and my MBA for.
Right.
So I joined the February batch, and so it's been a really rigorous 10 months. Like GMAT was just the first step of it, but one of the most crucial and important steps of it. And now I'm sitting with, I'm really happy with the admits that I've gotten Darden and ASA. So yeah, it's
I mean, this is a classic example of someone we always say that, when you look at yourself or you dream to have an admit by this time, you need to start early, and that is the success. Some people, I mean, nothing to offend anyone, but it is very difficult if someone thinks around, say, this time to get an admit next year. Becomes the process is that long, and this is
yeah.
what we keep insisting, that you start early, get done with GMAT with a great score, and then you look at your application, because that's another big process altogether. So thank you for sharing that. Now,
I mean, I would just like to add, like, life has these inflection points where you just meet the right people or the right organization, and suddenly your life is,
completely in
completely
another
drastic. And
direction. Yes, absolutely. It's not that you've been always thinking. There is a dream, there is a thought, but you need
yeah,
to have the right kind of people on that path to really make that work. And glad that we were just a small part of this journey to you. There's a big chapter that will unfold, and I can't wait for you to take that on. Now, with regard to your GMAT preparation, I hear when Sonal also mentioned that when you just started on, you did have trouble with both verbal and quant. Can you just explain? I mean, it's been some time now, but if you
yeah.
can recall that, what was it then, and how did Top 1% and Sandeep Gupta sir, how did all come together to help you overcome that challenge?
So once I started my GMAT prep, I actually had it the other way around. I struggled more with quant than I did with verbal. And initially, that came as a surprise to me because I'm come from an engineering background. I've done maths. So as I went with the quant course and I saw the materials, I realized that quant is not mathematics. And what I would say top 1% really helped me was unlearn a lot of the habits that I had for solving maths. I had the habit of just getting the answer using long equations to find the right answer. Sandeep sir, as well as the other maths teachers, really helped me learn how to eliminate the wrong answers and move forward. But what I would say the overall structure of the course is that actually I don't find it a course, I find it more like a recipe. Top 1% provides sort of like a recipe. It's great, just follow the steps and it does guarantee you a good product at the end, which is a good score.
Okay.
So I found it very structured, especially when you look at verbal. I'll go section by section. When you look at verbal, the octave is actually exceptionally helpful. And initially, I remember sir saying it's sort of like driving a car. Initially, you're not very comfortable with changing gears and looking in the mirrors at the same time. But once you get into the groove, start practicing, it becomes second nature to you. So RC was the toughest part of verbal for me, but the entire process in that. CR and SC was something that I really enjoyed out of the box. And so the as part of the classes, I realized that how I had to plan my strategy. My test strategy was that I would really take out more time for RC by saving time on SC and CR.
Okay.
So, like Sir said, that practice solving every question in SC and CR within a minute. So that was really the challenge for me. And the materials provided, especially the 100 questions that were provided in SC, as well as there was this book called the Final Revision book. Those were really, really essential for my SC preparation. They really helped me smoothen out the concepts, as well as, because I feel a lot of the questions in SC and CR, they're not tough, they're just designed to confuse you. So when you go through and when you sort out most of your fundamental concepts using those books, especially in SC, it really helps you. It really helps you build up your toolbox of not only using one concept to solve a problem, but using multiple concepts to really eliminate a problem within 40 seconds.
Right.
And with CR, there were these books that you provided for CR. So those were also really essential in addition to the CR questions provided. It's because those questions really talked about how CR questions are created. So
Right.
once you know how a question is going to get created, you already know what they're going to be looking for. So that was something I really found essential.
And this is what
And coming to
this,
Quant,
I think
the
just to
general
add
material as well as the this was
just
really
to
good.
add to it that
Yeah,
Sandeep sir always says that please look at how the GMAT test taker thinks like and not
exactly,
just like
Yeah,
be a
how
test.
they're trying to trap you.
Yeah.
Right.
exactly,
And
exactly.
and
So
hmm,
yeah. So
please.
that's what changed for me for CR. For a long time, I was sort of hitting a block in CR. That material, once I figured out what they can confuse me with, I started looking for it in the question and in the answers, and that really changed my approach to CR. So that was really helpful.
So you've packaged it very well. Now let's just break it with again. I'm saying it's been some time. I hope you remember, but
Yeah,
if we look at every section, you initially mentioned quant. It's very surprising, because a lot of engineering student and you're from VIT Vellore, math would have been just an easy bit. So what were you specifically struggling with, and what particular segment that you went back in the course that helped you kind of overcome the challenge? Because then it becomes pretty straightforward once you get that idea of, okay, this is what we are looking at, and it's not more of approaching getting the right answer, but it is more than getting the right answer, it is eliminating the wrong option, and that's where
exactly.
GMAT alone. So could you just tell us about how did you overcome with quant specifically, and then we'll look at every other sections forward.
So with Quant, actually, I had to change my approach. The engineering background that you said, it was actually what I felt was the worst thing that could happen to me for Quant. Because what engineering background gives you, it gives you this confidence that, all right, it's just maths, I can do it. So first thing I had to overcome was the overconfidence that no, this is not maths, this is quants. It's completely different.
Right.
Second, like you said, I was used to finding the right answer. I was not used to eliminating the wrong one. So the tricks and tips that are taught in class that really tell you, like I remember sir was solving a problem in class in front of us. He looked at the problem, he said, all right, these are the values given. So it can't be C, D, and E. It's directly between A and B. And then he applied a simple 10-second formula and he said it's B. So I was not used to doing that. I was used to taking all the values using the formula, the long formula to get the answer, and it should take me 1 minute 30 seconds.
Traditional
So I realized that if I'm taking 2 minutes or more, I've already lost that question and I've lost another question as well.
for the next one. Yeah.
So what I had to realize is that they are not looking to test your you on complex topics. They're really looking to test your basics. What quant is basically, what I understood was that quant is about applying a set of rules. That's it. They're not looking for mathematical knowledge. They're just looking whether you can apply a set of rules to a given problem. And once that sort of block changed for me, I was able to put more focus on the basics video that are provided by top 1%. I really paid a lot of attention to those, made notes on that. And
Aman.
then I solved it topic by topic. I was able to first start with 600 and then gradually graduate to 800 level problems. So these two things were what was changed for me. That changed my approach to quant. And the most important thing I would say that changed my approach, that changed my accuracy in quant was an error log.
Yeah.
It is the most underrated thing that prepping for
Saying that.
GMAT, because coming from the maths background that I had, I was used to solving. Let's say I solve 50 questions, I'll be like, I'll understand the concept by the end of the 50 questions. It's fine. I'll learn by applying. But that's not exactly how it works in GMAT. You have to first have a clear idea of the basics, and then only you can apply it in the problem.
And that's what is also very different from our engineering or let's say previous applying previous way of learning. You're taught how to solve a certain concepts and then you start applying immediately. With Sandeep, he has formulated a structure from the day one. You solve the questions first, whatever the idea is, and then he'll tell you the right way, and then you'll significantly make that learning and the correction at the same time. So I hope that helped. Now, RC was a big roadblock. You spent a significant time, is what you said. Did you have a block at a time? Did you see a significant progress by just going through the videos? Did KTW, another attached session, did it come to help in any sense? RC awareness. Can you just give a
So the
brief
thing was,
about it?
I was sort of familiar with American history. I studied it for a long time. So the KTW I felt was a condensed version of that.
Right.
So KTW videos, they are helpful. They're helpful for people to find context. But the biggest roadblock for me in this was that now let's say they have a very complex RC passage. To be able to understand it within minutes and then directly answer questions on it, I can't spend too much time just reading it again and again.
True.
What Octave helped me do was pay attention to the key parts of it. I don't need to understand the entire thing. I just need to know what the topic is leaning towards.
That's right.
The answers then help you out that way. Like I remember in the test also, I got one RC passage in which it had like 5 different factors all pointing to each other. And in the end, like it was talking about some kind of a supernova sort of thing. And in the end, I had to basically just look at one factor and see what that factor is pointing towards, find the relationships within the passage. So that's what RC helps. And the crux of it lies in the contradiction words, like it's there in Octave. So I remember sir using the word treasure hunt. So it's exactly like that. So once you start applying it like that and not trying to form your own assumptions before reading the passage or your own knowledge from outside of the passage, it gets easier. But again, it's a matter of practice and application of Octave.
Right. You mentioned about CR and SC. Any specific content or videos that stood out during your preparation?
Uh, the videos, I remember the initial video in which Sir broke down for CR especially. Sir broke down the types of reasonings you can have. Like if I want to weaken something, how do I weaken it? He provided 4 instances of that. So he basically gave us sort of a blueprint of what an answer can look like for especially weakening and strengthening. And the other two, assumption and this, were basically derivatives of that, or of
Okay.
assumptions. I mean, I think it's called assumption centrality technique.
Yes.
So when he explained that and gave us the blueprint for what an answer could look like, it really cleared out a lot of things for me, because then I knew what to look for in a correct answer. Eliminating the wrong answer was the next step, but now I knew what a good answer looked like. So that was something that really helped me in CR, especially. It really helped me, and later on, building on this, it really helped me learn how to identify wrong answers quickly. Because as you said, there are more wrong answers than a right answer. So just eliminate the wrong answers. What's left is right. Because this is something that was missing when I used to eliminate wrong answers. At the end, I used to try to figure out why this is the right answer. But as the CR, the my understanding of CR evolved because of the videos, I stopped questioning why it's the right answer. I just had confidence that I know these are wrong. So whatever left is has to be right. So that's how the steps evolved for me for CR. When it came to SC, so I remember sir saying that don't just focus on one topic. Like let's just don't just focus on parallelism and keep using that. You have to have other things in your toolbox as well. So that is something that was really helpful for me. Initially, the major topics like let's say prepositions or parallelism, these were some things that I would really rely on. I would ignore anything other than that I could use to eliminate a wrong answer. I would ignore things like tenses. So then after the videos got more clarity, especially there's that big PDF, that 100 plus questions and concept PDF, that is essential. So it really helps you fine tune tool, because my approach to SC was that it's like you have a problem and you have multiple tools you can use to eliminate the wrong answers. You have to choose the tool that gives you the right answer in the least amount of time, because within the five options there can be errors in parallelism, there can be errors in preposition, there can be errors in tenses. Now let's say I can use tenses to find the wrong answer, but it'll take more time. Parallelism will give me the right answer faster. So once I got familiar with what all tools I have and how to use them, I was able to get to the same answer much faster.
Right.
And so that was something I really enjoyed. I really enjoyed CR and SC once I got used to the, I would say, program provided by the Prime and provided by Top 1%. So that was really helpful.
So, very interesting thing. Like while we were speaking, it's been 6 months, five months at least, and we're sitting here, and obviously GMAT was 5 months ago, and
Yeah.
it just, I'm surprised by the depth that you have
Yes.
actually,
Yes.
you have mastered. Because after 5 months, we haven't spoken about GMAT. I'm speaking to you for the first time, and you recall everything so very well. It only tells me that this is what Sandeep would be extremely happy about, that this is what he tells, that you have to master in such a way that 5 months later, if you were to teach somebody today, you would be doing it with that precision. And I'm so happy that these things can really help you. Use these small techniques can help you in different parts of your life, maybe MBA, maybe at work, to those techniques. I am just extremely surprised, I must tell you, Yash, for knowing that
Yeah.
concepts, every bit of it, which you did 5 months ago. I mean, some of our students would have, they who are in a continuous preparation, they've forgotten what they studied, or
Yeah.
a month ago. Absolute precision, no doubt that you have you've mastered and you've gotten that depth. It just tells us so loud and clear when you're
I
talking.
think one more thing which really is very striking in his preparation is the way he has organized everything. So he started from the basics, he graduated it slowly, used the error log to the optimum. So it's exactly the step, one has to graduate. Otherwise, people just study and then they start writing sectional tests or 700 level questions and they think that they have not been able to write it. But the way he's done it, it's so up, the approach is so beautiful that he slowly graduated, maintained the error log, followed it through. And the
No, I
result is
think
in front of us,
I
It's
think this is really thanks to the study plan that was really helpful.
Yeah.
Because I felt it. I'm pretty sure a lot of other students would feel it. Once the course ends,
Yeah.
there's this sort of emptiness. Okay, now what should I focus on? There's so much to do.
Yeah.
So it can be a little overwhelming at that point. So when you have a plan like that, it really helps.
Yeah.
Like I remember there was a study plan on the Google Drive link for us that all right, now classes are over. This is the first step, then do this, then do that. So
Yeah.
that's what really gave it a lot of structure, my preparation, because it's about knowing what to do when. So I think that approach was very structured because I had a plan already created. I altered it a little bit according to what I felt I needed, but
it's
it was a basic blueprint that was really helpful.
Right. This is amazing. So going to the next phase, which is after your GMAT, or not after, I think I just skipped that. On the test day, I mean, again, it's been some time now. Were there any kind of a surprise element, or were you nervous? Was there anything related to the questions that you were prepared, or time, or anything, or maybe the environment itself, that shocked you, or essentially it surprised you on the test day?
So no, there were no surprises in the test from the questions point of view. But going into the test, like a day before the test, I had taken certain steps that I would be comfortable in that environment.
Right.
So first and foremost, like when I was giving mock tests, I actually gave them at different times of the day to figure out when I was at my best for giving an exam. So
Perfect.
that helped me, hone down on the fact that I was at my peak in GMAT,
Optimum best. Yeah.
giving exam during the 12 to 12:30 window. So that's when I scheduled my exam for. And also I realized that I sort of need a warm up before I give the exam. Sort of giving the exam felt like exercise to me. So I needed to do some stretches. So I used to, before giving an exam, before giving my final exam also, I had picked out like 5 random questions from some topics in quant and verbal, and I just solved those. And then I went and gave my exam.
Amazing.
And as for the exam, the time, now I think that comes down to strategy. During my verbal, I messed up the strategy a little bit. It was because I got this really tough RC question. It really threw off my body clock at that time. So I felt that I had taken up too much time in that RC question. So I followed the abandon approach. All right, I have taken too much time in this. Move on to the next one.
Yeah.
But then after that, I only had CR and SC questions because that was I think you get only 3 to 4 RC questions in an exam, and that was my fourth RC question. So I could have afforded to given a little more time to that, because when I reached my last question in my exam, I had like five
You had
minutes
time.
left. It was an SC question.
Right.
So that's what I would say, is that just it's a game of nerves, I feel, on the exam day.
Right.
The person
True.
who's able to hold their nerves towards the end is the person who gets the result they really want. So that's what I felt was. But apart from that, there were no surprises in the exam.
That
It
asked
was,
question would have at least moved another 10-20 points high.
yeah,
Sure.
I mean,
That's one thing.
so that again, that's kudos to the attitude that top 1% puts. Because the moment I saw my score, I was 740. I knew that, okay, if I had taken a little more extra time in the last 10 questions, I could have bumped up my my verbal score to at least a 44. So at that moment, my first thought was not, all right, it's a great score. My first thought was, all right, should I give it again? Because
I remember that. Yes.
So now that you had a score, and then the next step was ultimately to give
Apply.
for an application. What were your schools in mind, and did you also got an admit? So could you just quickly let us know about your application process, and how did you go through the admission cycle and an admit finally?
yeah. So I was looking at schools in primarily US and Europe, with US being the priority because of the market. And I was only aiming at the top 15 schools because I felt that these provided the best quality of education. In these, I really zoned out. I filtered 6 schools that I wanted to apply to, because because after talking to many people, I realized that 6 is the majority you can hit.
And at this time, you had 3 years of experience. Could you just tell us what background also you had?
Yeah, so I have a BTech. I'm a the term is generic engineering male.
Right.
So that's my background, and I had 3 years of experience. I primarily worked in fintech. I work in JP Morgan Chase. So I have a pretty, I would say, standard background
Yeah.
as it comes for applicants. So I really needed to put a lot of effort into my essays and my interviews, because the applicant pool is really competitive, especially for Indians.
You're right.
So I had to pick my schools accordingly, decide whether I want to be extremely aggressive in the schools I picked, or have a lot of backups as well. But in the end, I decided that I only want to target top 15, nothing outside of it, because I felt that was the way to go for my. I wasn't just looking at the next 2 years. I was looking at the next 10 years post MBA, and I felt that these top 15 schools provided me the best opportunity at that. So schools I actually targeted was Darden, which is UVA, Fuqua,
Mm.
MIT, Michigan Ross, Tuck, and Cornell.
Cornell. Mm.
Yeah, and for one school I targeted in Europe was ESA in Spain. So again, all of these schools have they look for sort of specific things in the applicant. They look at, but the gist of what I got from my interviews and the kind of questions and essays they ask is that they're actually looking that you are a person who takes initiative and a person whose current state is a result of is a consequence of their actions,
True.
not just a byproduct of the circumstances they find themselves in.
Wonderful.
So if you're able to showcase that to your applications, I think a person stands a good chance of securing a good admit.
That's well said. It summarizes. We generally say that
Yeah,
in
very well
more
articulated.
number of lines, but that's well said. One thing, if someone is probably watching in the future, this is a good thing. Very inspiring. So in through the entire process, you have gotten admit. Any specific tips that you would like to just give in terms of how to go about pitching your application after your GMAT score?
So the best thing that a person can do is build a narrative, because it's sort of like pitching a product. You are pitching yourself. You have to really highlight what you bring to the table, but it shouldn't look like it's just showing off that this is what I've done. It has to come from a humble place, and it has to be, you have to connect the dots. I remember, sir, that's an important thing sir said. Connect the dots backwards about why you did what you did, about building a story and a narrative. That's essential. It should really, if I look at an application, I should look, all right, this is what this person stands for. So that is something that's essential. And picking a good GMAT, this consultant, admission consultant is important, because like me, I am not used to writing the introspective essays that are part of the application.
Right.
So to focus on what really is important in your story, that is something that is advice a admission consultant can really give you.
And really take.
Yeah.
So amazing. This is such an amazing journey for anyone. It's definitely inspiring. And everything that you have done, I'm sure you're really taking those bigger nuggets forward. And there's also, we won't at the moment, maybe it's too early to talk about your scholarship because you've just applied for it. Hopefully you get it like I wished
Yes,
for.
rooting for you.
Yes, that's what Sonal mentioned. We'll talk about it when you get there. But then, amazing story. Now, if you have to just summarize for someone who's starting now and maybe looking at 2025 intake, 24 is too early to even speak about if someone is starting today, 25 or later. The course is there, but even your habits, your consistency, your, staying clear of all the distraction and then really focusing at when you have 3 years of experience. So in a few points, what would you say are the absolute do's and don'ts in through your preparation and in through the admit?
So I would first say that do not underestimate the value of GMAT score. That is something that I have seen in multiple people. They think that, all right, a GMAT of this much, because my other profile is so strong, it will compensate. Don't think that. And so while coming to a GMAT score, like you said, consistency is actually key. What I felt really helped my performance in GMAT was not the, let's say, 6 hours I put in on the weekend. It's the 45 minutes to an hour that I put in every day. That really helps you bump up your performance. It's about what you do every day towards your exam that counts, not just the, let's say, 1 or 2 days that really put in a lot. So be consistent. Do not delay it too much, because I feel in the GMAT, you hit a natural peak.
Yeah.
You give the exam then, because after that, it's downhill from there, unless you repeat the entire process.
Right.
So assign yourself a certain timeline
Get
that
it.
this is, let's say, 6 months. I
Hmm.
have to give my GMAT within 6 months. It creates a goal for you. Now you have a certain timeline to do it in. Because putting a year and a half into GMAT, it really
Doesn't
doesn't make sense. 6 months, I feel, is more than ideal, especially if you're working with at the same time. You can do it within that much amount of time. So, and the highlight would be just consistency, and do not give mock tests just like that.
Right.
That is one thing that I would really stress a lot about. People, a lot of people that would think that just I have read something, now let's just give mock tests.
Yeah.
I got 5 wrong. Okay, I'll give the second mock test. I'll get less wrong than that. No, you have to analyze every single mock test you give and understand what you did wrong, what you did right, and how you can improve. And here I feel that the tests that are provided in the portal, the top 1% portal, they were really helpful. The GMAT portal that I used for tests, I really did not find them useful, if I'm going to put it bluntly.
Oh my God. Okay.
That's a very good thing to hear, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
But amazing. Thank you so much for sharing this. It's been 30 minutes and I have such a positive vibe
Yeah.
of you going so far in life. And I really wish that, and we'll stay connected, of course. But when I would see your progress, maybe 3 years, 4 years, 5 years down the line, and I'm so certain that you would do so well, just because this 30 minutes can actually say so much about you. And thank you for sharing, especially this part of your journey that's going to really pivot the entire next chapter of your life. And I would not be surprised at all for what extraordinary things you would be doing up after your MBA and further. Yeah. Thank you so much for sharing it. Sonal, you have to add anything, or you have
I
to?
just want to say that I'm so happy for him, and I've already imagined him sending a message that yes, I got the 100% scholarship, and we again calling him back to congratulate. So wishing you all the best, Yash, and yes,
Thank
it's
you. Thanks. Thanks
just
for
rooting
this.
for you for everything you do ahead. Yeah,
Thank you. Thank you so much,
Thank,
Natasha. Thank you so much, Sonia.
thank you again. We'll stay connected. Have a
so much
good
for joining
and
us. Have
all
a
the
very
very
good
best. Thank you, Sonal. Thank you.
yeah. Bye.